So, without wasting any time, may I request to respected Professor Sir to lead the sessions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kamalji, and our dear students of MD degree, Master Degree by Dissertations. And it is a very nice. I am also glad to see you again through online. And after 10 days, I am meeting you with you all. And if you remember, we had discussed some of the salient features of our research methodology. We had discussed in the beginning that what is the research, what are the types of the research, and what are the methods of research for conducting research. And then we had discussed about the literature review as well as not literature review. I think literature review has been discussed by our another resource person that Arvind Singh. And then if you remember in the last class, we had discussed about the topic selection, Visay Nirvachan, as well as we had also discussed about the research proposal writing. So we had discussed all these things in our last class. So today we'll discuss about in a two class that how academic writing related with our mm, research paper as well as the dissertation to be submitted for the MA master degree or MA in Buddhist studies. So we'll discuss that how academic writing is being written. We had discussed about that at the time of registration to the master degree course or at the time of registration to the PhD course, how a research scholar prepares himself for the research proposal and what are the guidelines to write a research proposal for the PhD course or MA degree course. So we had discussed in a brief manner in our last class, but it is different than the research proposal writing, whatever we are going to discuss in our today's class. So we'll discuss in a very detailed manner that how this research proposal is being written, not research proposal, but the academic writing for the master degree dissertation as well as the PhD research dissertations. How what are the things which are taken care of by writing? And if you remember, we had also seen in the beginning also that what is the research and how the research can be conducted by a research scholar. And we had seen that a researcher must have the research aptitude to continue the research proposal as well as to write a dissertation also. So we had discussed in a very detailed manner in our last class that how research proposal can be written by a research scholar. And we had also seen that a candidate or a researcher or a student of MA degree must have a passion to write a research things. And we had also discussed that research, writing of a research paper or an academic writing, it is different than the MA classes, whatever we are writing for the notes of the papers of the MA courses or the BA courses. So it is different than our this research dissertation or academic writing. So whenever we are writing for the publications uh, or a reputed journal or the referred journal, what are the things we have to take consideration of that? So there are some of the styles which are prescribed by the university to some extent that how you have to follow the writing the research dissertation for the MA as well as for PhD. So there are some chapter scheme also. In research proposal writing, we do not have the chapters. But here there is a structure of the writing of the chapters also in the dissertation, whether it is for MA or it is for our PhD course. So there is a structure. You have to write down aims and objectives of the research. Then what are the research statement of the problem? Then we write about the literature review. Then we write about the hypothesis. Then we write the what are the research methodology which are to be taken by a researcher for writing this research dissertation, whether it is qualitative method or quantitative method. And then we give the our discussion related with our collections by the collections of the research materials, and then we are interpreting the things in a different manner. And this is the our academic writing. In that we have to write down in all these things, whether it is a research paper, but in the dissertation there is a scheme of the chapters, but in the research paper there is no any scheme of the chapters, because within 4 or 5,000 words you have to write a research paper. So in that way you have to write down, and there are some of the elements which should be covered in journal. In any research thesis, order could be changed or as stated. We will discuss one by one, and let me share the our PPT so that it will be more beneficial for you. So so screen is visible to all, I think, and I am audible to you all also. So let us
Yes, Professor. Yeah, it's
yes, yes,
absolutely fine.
thank you. So today we are going to discuss the research paper structure as well as writing. This is the part of our academic writing, and we will discuss all the elements which are supposed to be undertaken by a researcher in that. And we had discussed that a researcher must have a passion as well as he must have a research aptitude to write a dissertation. It is not MA notes that you are compiling or gathering the informations from the books and you are writing notes for the MA papers. But here there is no any abrupt statement. Whatever you are writing, it must be substantiated by the references or the citations. So this is the our research paper writing. You must have a passion as well as a research aptitude. You must have the aptitude. What are the qualities of a research writing or a research paper as well as a research dissertation paper, and there are some of the things which are told in the Darwin's theory also. We are having that struggle for the existence and survival for the fittest. This is the evolution of the cosmology, or how the theory of the evolution which has been propounded by Darwin. So you have to make a struggle for the existence, for writing the good papers, as well as to present yourself in an excellent manner, whether it is a dissertation or in the academic research paper. So you have to show excellence in the writing and finding the new results in a innovative way on the basis of your research materials. So this is the, and here the researcher has a survival for the fittest. So only those who are having the research aptitude as well as they have enthusiasm to do something new, innovation or new findings. This field is very challenging also, and in that way scholars are saying that either you publish a good paper or a good writing research paper, and otherwise you perish yourself. So these rules are also applicable in our research paper writing. So this is the thing. On the basis of that, I would like to make enthusiasm or infusing the confidence among yourself that you must have a strong confidence as well as research aptitude to write a research paper as well as to show your excellence in the presentation of writing. So here, a style of the writing is counted a lot in your excellence. So because what you are writing, based upon that, the quality of the research is achieved. So you must have a very lucid writing so that the common people can understand it very well, as well as the language must be very simple manner, not with a very good technical as well as difficult words which are used in our dissertations or academic research paper. So these are avoided here. Language must be very simple. The style of writing must be lucid so that people can understand it. So this whenever you are publishing new findings or the results, these are patented by some of the organizations of the government. So the academic papers are also patented, and factor of the research paper are also counted on the basis of that how many persons or researchers have gone through your research paper, and what is the impact factor that is available on the basis of that. Whenever you are publishing any research paper, how many researchers are going to quote or make citations of those research papers. So today I am going to discuss in a very brief manner in these two classes that how research paper is being written by the research scholar, that is the research paper writing. What is the process of publication of a good research paper in the reputed or peer-reviewed journals? And what is the quality or what is the standard or parameter of a good research? How can we find out? So these three things we'll discuss about it. And let us discuss that what there should be a focus of writing of the research paper as well as research dissertations. Whenever we had discussed about the definition of the research, then we had discussed that research is the systematic investigations of the things based upon the research materials which are available to us, and we are may able to make interpretations in the new different manner. So this is our research, and there are 3 4 questions: why, how, and what. These are some of the things which are related with our research also we had discussed in the beginnings. And for the writing of research paper as well as a research dissertation for the MA as well as for the PhD course, these are things which are related with our writing of research papers: why, how, what, so what, to whom, and where. In which why is related that what is the main objectives of your writing of your research paper or dissertations, why you are writing this aims and objectives of the that research paper. This is the main focus of the our student or research scholars. Then we had discussed that a style of the writing must be lucid and simple. It can be understood by any common man, and that this research is only for the sake of advancement of the knowledge. And whenever we are saying that for the sake of advancement of the knowledge, these findings must be known to the persons who are not aware of these findings, so they can be also able to understand those innovations or the findings or the results of your research. So in that way, the style of writing of your research paper counts a lot of things. What is the content of your research paper, and how you are going to present your paper on the basis of the qualitative method or quantitative method, and how you are going to present your things in a descriptive manner or interpretive manner, or on the basis of the quantitative method, how you are going to present the things. So this content selections counts a lot in the writing also. So why is this work is so important? The significance of the your title of the research or writing of research paper or the dissertations, why it is so important, what is the significance of writing of this, so it must be written in your paper also. And the focus of the writing must be related with that. Here focus is that a researcher must be very much attentive related with these questions, that how these are written in that research paper or research thesis. To who, what is the readership? To whom, for whom you are going to write your research paper or the research dissertations. So you have to write that how and the aims and objectives are also related with this, and where you are going to publish this research dissertation, research paper, as well as your research thesis also. So these are some of the things you have to answer before beginning of your writing research paper. So these are some of the things you have to write down: introduction, research method, results, and discussions. So these are the four things which are related with your writing of the research. Introductions, whenever you are writing research paper, there is a norms that first of all you have to write down abstract of the papers within 250 words to 300 words, and after that you have to write down about some keywords, 5 to 7 words, which are related with your research paper, and how these terms have been defined in your research paper, how the concepts are being interpreted by on the basis of the our canonical, non-canonical, or commentarial literature. So the keywords must be 5 to 7, and then you have to write down about the introduction. In the introduction, you have to write down, I will come one by one, all these things. So let us discuss that in the research dissertation for the master degree by dissertation or for the PhD course. These are some of the things related you have to write down. First of all, the title of the research paper or the research dissertation, then author and the affiliation, to who, where a researcher is affiliated for the PhD course, then abstract of the summary, the keywords, then introduction, then aims and objectives you have to write down, then the literature review, then research methods, methodology, and the conduct of the study, then the results, tables, figures, or diagrams, then discussion you are writing on the basis of the research materials which have been collected by a a scholar, and then you are writing the conclusion. So lastly, you can make acknowledgement of the those persons to from where you from whom you have got some of the supports in the writing your research paper or the research dissertations. And lastly, you have to give the bibliography, then abbreviations, and the glossary of some of the terms. Generally, in the writing research paper, some of the research papers, some technical terms which have been not defined in the paper, they can be also defined in at the end of the research paper. So this is the an appendix in the case of research dissertation. You have to write down about all these things. In the last, that some of the things which are not part of the dissertation, but they are closely related with that our research thesis or research dissertations. In that way, some of the research papers which have been published by a research scholar, they can be given in the appendix. Even the new some research papers which are published related with your research topic for the MA as well as for PhD, that can be also appended at the end of your research thesis. So let us see first of all that what is the research paper. We will discuss that how they are written by a research scholar. In the case of research paper, the title must be catchy but appropriate title, not more than 12 to 16 words of the title of the paper. And we have seen that the title must be intelligent and it should reflect the aims and objectives of your research paper, as well as it should say that what you are going to do in your research paper. The title itself tells a lot of things. So the title must be very much catchy and it should reflect what you are going to write down. So it should be intelligent and telling and foreground the major argument of the dissertations. So anyone can understand if the title is written very properly. So people can understand that what a researcher is going to discuss in that abstract, not more than the 250 words to 300 maximum this is, and in one paragraph you have to write down, and it should be written in the past tense and self-contained. And after that the abstract, it should have the purpose, first of all, why you are writing this research paper or the dissertation, and the research method, what is the research design which you are going to discuss, what are the things which you are going to making research design in the writing of research paper or research dissertation. Then what are the findings which you are going to get by writing these things? What are the practical implications of writing of this? What is the originality or what is the findings of this research paper and type of work, whether this is theoretical, empirical, and the lastly conclusion. So within 250 to 300 words, you have to write down all these things: purpose, research methods, finding, practical implications, originality and value, types of the work, whether it is theoretical, empirical. Theoretical means on the basis of the qualitative method, that is the descriptive method or interpretative method, you have to use it, and on the basis of empirical, that on the basis of quantitative method, that is on the basis of statistical data which you are going to get it. So you have to write down all these things within 250 to 300 words. Then you have to write 5 to 7 words as a keywords in the writing of the research paper. So covering main subject, a specific core problem or the idea, method and empirical setup. So you have to write down all these things in your abstract. Now come to the next introduction part. Plan of the paper must be stated in the introduction section, say in its last paragraph. So what is the plan of your research? What you are going to state in your research paper, it should be written in the introductory part of the research paper. After keywords, you have to write down. Then let us see that what the introduction says about the research paper and what are the things which must be put in the introduction part of the research paper. As well as when you are writing research dissertation, you have to keep it in mind that what you are going to write down. Introduction should clearly state the background of the scope of the problem, research problem. Objectives and hypothesis be stated precisely. What is the objectives of the writing research paper, as well as what is the hypothesis? that is the anuman or parikalpana, on the basis of the statement of the research problems, what is the present solution which is arising in our mind, you have to write down in a very brief manner, precisely. Then you have to write down about the literature review, should cover only the essential parts. Not if you are writing a research paper, you have to discuss only 3, 4 books for the literature review, not more than that. But if you are writing more than a research dissertation paper for MA as well as for PhD course, then you have to consider at least 15 to 20 books you have to make a literature review for the books also and for the peer-reviewed journals in which the research paper related with your research title of the work have been published. So in that way, you have to write down then the research methods and the procedures used for the data collections. What are the methods to be adopted by our researcher for the collections of the data or the research materials, and how they can be analyzed on that? You have to write down. Never include raw data in results. You do not have to, the data which we are collected, they must be belonging to the canonical, non-canonical, post-canonical, or commentary literature. There should not be any raw materials which do not have any significance in writing the research paper or research thesis. Do not present the same data more than once. Once you have given your materials in one part of your research paper or the thesis, it should not be repeated or it should be avoided by the researcher. Write promise sentence, issue, and how you have to write down in the introductory part that you have to write that what are the issues raised in the research questions. First of all, you have to write down and what are the primary and primary text on which you are raising some of the questions or a statement of the research problem, and what is the perspective used to analyze the text. What are the methods which are adopted by a researcher for analyzing the primary sources available in our canonical text, Vinaya Sutta and Abhidhamma, or commentary literature or post-canonical literature? Substantial narrative of the text as per the issue raised. Sometimes we are having the text or the sources which are in the form of narrative literature. And these narratives text how the issues are being raised. If there is a possibility, you can put it here. And what are the perspective used? Not more than 2 sentences for each text you have to write down. Basic theoretical to analyze the text and your thesis statement. In the introduction part, you have to make that what are the basic theoretical aspects to analyze the primary sources available in Vinaya Sutta and Abhidhamma, and your thesis statement, a reason plus evidences. You have to put here with the logic and reasoning, whatever you are writing. So there should not be any abrupt statement. Whatever you are writing, you must give with the reasoning as well as logic. So Buddha also says that do not accept anything, so whatever it comes to you from your teachers or from the legend, from the your hearsay, by hearing anything from your acharyas or masters. But you must investigate all these things, whether these are available in our canonical literature or not. Then you can accept it. So in that way, these portions are related with our introductions. Now we are coming to the abstract part. How in 250 words or the 300 words, how you can put all these things in that what are the points to be written in the abstract part. So here write the abstract by any insert these points. what are the issues which are raised, or what are the issues which have been explored on the basis of the primary text or the study area, whether it is in Theravada or Mahayana area or Vajrayana or Tantra area. What are the perspective used for that? What are the research questions you have to put? That what are the research questions and what is the statement of the research problems? What are the objectives? And what are the major theoretical insights which you are going to discuss in your research paper? So in the abstract, in a very few to two sentences, you have to write down that what are the major theoretical insights employed to analyze the primary text, or why you are taking Vinay, Sutta or Abhidhamma, why not other text? So you have to defend yourself that what are your sources of your research? What are your limitations to the area of your research? Why you are selecting only Pali text, not Buddhist Sanskrit literature? You have to make a defend of this, and you have to write down that why you there is issues or the questions which have been raised in this research paper. I have to adopt to only the Pali text or the Sanskrit Buddhist text or Tibetan literature or Chinese literature. You have to put here gist of the analysis, crux of the conclusion, and the significance of the study within the content existing scholarship. So you have to write all these things in your abstract, not beyond of that. Only these things you have to write down related with your research. What are the issues? What are the research questions? What are the perspective or research methods which are going to be used by the researcher in writing your research paper or research dissertations, and why you are selecting your sources in Theravada or Mahayana or Vajrayana or Tantrayan, whatever the text which are available. Why you are selecting those? You have to write down, and what will be the method of analysis of your research materials, and what is the conclusion in a very crux manner. You have to write down here. Again, a statement of the problem. You have to write down about whenever you are writing research dissertation for the master degree by dissertation. So you have to write down a statement of the research problem. So what are the things which are to be kept, to be undertaken by a researcher? So here, write your statement of the problem before answering these questions. So whenever you are writing a statement of the problem, you have to see that what problem strikes you while going through the primary text or study area. Suppose you are selecting Theravada Buddhism or Mahayana Buddhism. So what is the main problem which is striking in your mind before going to the primary text and other things? Second thing, that why do you think that it is important to be come out as a academic researcher to address the problem you have felt? Whatever you are feeling any research problem, do you think that it is in significant, it will be significant or it will be relevant to the academic field in which the area I am going to do my research in? Third is, what the research gap did you identify after going through the uh, text or the books written by our scholars on this very topic? What are the research gap? On the basis of that, some of the issues or the research problems which have come out in your mind. So identify those research gaps, avoid other unnecessary details and the repetition. So whenever you are writing, you have to concentrate about all these things. Do not include other things in the statement of the problem. Only that why this problem is striking in your mind, Why do you think that it is significant or important to the academic field in which you are going to do your research? And what are the research gap did you find after going through the works and contributions of the scholars in that field? So let us see all these things related with our statement of the problem. The fourth is that there should be correspondence between research questions and the objectives. What are the research questions? There must be correspondence with the aims and objectives of the research. Generally, what are the research problems? These are also put in the research objectives also, objectives of the research. And generally in the dissertations, if there are 5 or 6 chapters, these objectives must reflect in the respective chapters of the dissertations. So chapters are generally being styled by the researchers on the basis of the aims and objectives of the research of the dissertation or the thesis. So there must be correspondence between the research question as well as research objectives. Then research questions. What are the questions? We have seen that what are the issues raised whenever you are finding any research gap? Why? In the sense that reasons for selecting the text and the theory. If you are selecting any concept related with the Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Path, Law of Definite Origination, Law of Karma and Rebirth, or Nirvana, whatever the concept, if you are putting any theory which has come and how these are uh, found by a scholar in the text and why these texts are being selected by a researcher, it must be written here. How representations of the raised issue in the primary text. So these three things you have to put in your questions, research questions: what, why, and how. What means what are the issues raised in your research paper or research questions? Why you are selecting the concepts as well as the primary text related with your research title, and how these issues are raised in the primary text. So in that way, you have to write down all these things: what, why, and how. When you are writing objectives, and these objectives must be related with your research questions. So here also you have to write down that I have to explore the research questions. There are 4 or 5 research questions. Then the 4 or 5 research questions must be answered in the way of exploring the issues raised in the research questions. So in that way, in the objectives, there will be also 4 or 5, and you have to write down that I have to explore the issues raised in the book such and such, the research gap, to examine or to assess, to investigate the reasons. You have to give it that why you are examining or selecting the primary text, to analyze the things, how you are going to analyze, as well as how the issues raised in the primary text, they are represented in your objectives. So here you have to write down things. Whenever you are writing objectives, after that you have to delimit your study also. So delimit means you have to prepare your dissertation within a stipulated time given to you. Within 6 months or within 1 year, you have to write down your dissertation for the MDD, Master Degree by Dissertation. So here you have to delimit. Delimit means you have to put the research title in a very specific or pinpointed or narrower. We had discussed in our last class also that how the selection of a topic is being undertaken by a researcher. So we had seen that how the great circle is denoting the discipline Buddhist studies, and then inner circle denotes the area, and the center nucleus is representing the main subject, which is very narrow, and you are putting your whole work in finding the research related with that specific. So here narrowing means you are putting the very narrower, and we have to put limitations for writing or research. So this primary area of study and theoretical modality, you have to put in a very limited manner here. What is the significance of the study of your dissertation when you are taking a research? So what is the significance? Just write answers of the following questions. So whenever you are writing significance of the study, that how is your study innovative one? How do you think that your research paper or research dissertation for the master degree by dissertation is making advancement of the knowledge in the area in which you are going to make research? So you have to think over it, and you have to put here that why your study is different or new one from the scholars who have already written on this subject, and the research questions which have been put by yourself on the basis of the research gap, how it is innovative. So you have to write down what new knowledge does it add to the context of existing scholarship in the present contemporary time. In the discipline of Buddhist studies, the researches are being done in every aspect of the Buddhism or related with the Buddhist studies. So in that way, that in the contemporary time, what is the significance of that your study which is going to do? So you have to write down about all these things. Why should potential researchers and academics consult, read, and cite your study? Whenever you are writing research paper as well as research dissertation for the MDD or for PhD course, how do you think that the scholars who are doing researches on this very topic, how they will have interest in going through your research paper or research dissertation? So in that way, significance of the study you have to write down, or you have to keep it in mind related with the 3 4 aspects. How is your study innovative one? How new knowledge does it add in the context of existing scholarship? And why should potential researcher and academics consult, read, and cite your research paper? Next. So this is the our statement of the problem. We had discussed about the statement of whenever you are writing the research dissertation, you have to write down introduction, abstract, keywords, then a statement of the problem. Now we are coming, then abstract you have to write down, then statement of the problem. After the statement of the problem, you are coming to the literature review. So how you have gone through the lectures also on the review of the literatures, but how in the academic writing, when you are writing a dissertation for the MDD or for PhD course, so how the literature view are written. So there are 3 aspects related with our literature review. That what are the basic concepts which you are going to study the books or the text written by our acharyas, or the text which are available in the canonical, non-canonical, and commentarial literature, and what are the modalities of the uh, what are the research methods through which these theories were propounded by our previous scholars. So what are the basic concepts? What are the modalities or what are the approaches of the scholars for propounding the theories related with your thought or the ideas? And what are the primary texts which were consulted by our previous scholars? So only in reviewing the literature related with your topic of the research, we have to take consideration of only three aspects in writing the review literature. You do not have to make a review of all the chapters of the book which you are going to read it. There are more than 10 to 15 chapters in a book. You are not supposed to make a review of all the chapters of the book, but only the concepts on which you are going to do research, the concepts, the basic concepts which have been discussed in that book, and what are the approaches or the research methods which have been adopted by our previous scholar, and what are the findings, and what are the texts which were used by the previous scholars. You have to write down about all these things. So after collecting these reviews, write them either in chronological order or in a thematic order. Whenever you are gathering informations on the basis of the thoughts or the ideas, you can put in the order of the ideas or thoughts or the theories or theme on the basis of the theme. Otherwise, on the basis of the chronological, whenever you are making historical method of your research under the qualitative method of research, then you can put the books on the basis of the chronology. If you are making on the basis of canonical literature, then the suttas available in the Dik Nikaya, Majjhim Nikaya, Sanjukta Nikaya, Anguttar Nikaya, or Khudak Nikaya, you can select the text on the basis of, or the suttas on the basis of the chronological level, how it was preached by the Blessed One for the 45 years, and how there is a chronology of the suttas which have been preached by the Buddha. You can put the things in your order also. Further, moreover, the review just tells who says what. Instead, they need to know what the researcher thinks of what others say. So this is the main thing, that to know what the researcher thinks of what others say. But from the books, you have to find out that how the researcher thinks of what others say. The candidate must engage with the existing scholarship without gaps in their researches and argumentations. So, whenever you are making literature review, you have to think that what is the present state of the scholarship in the contemporary time, and how you are going to put your research on the basis of logic and reasoning, and with on the basis of the argumentative thoughts, how you are putting all these things. So after these reviews, identify the research gap, and show your journey of your departure. So you have to, on the basis of the literature review of the primary text, primary sources, you have to identify the research gaps, justify how your research is an innovative one, review it with your guides, your research methodology, with whether it is a historical method or qualitative method or descriptive method. What will be the method of your research? You have to discuss with your teachers. So you need to write research methodology after a thorough review of the literature. So whenever you are writing review literature, then you have to put research methodology or approaches of the research methods which you are going to discuss. Then research methodology, when you are writing the research methodology, what are the things which have to be written by a researcher? So research methodology Generally, it has been defined that it is a technique or tool through which a researcher undertakes his research on the basis of qualitative method or the quantitative method. So this is the thing. But here, when you are writing, it includes the structure or the design of the research, whether it is qualitative or quantitative or mixed research design. You have to write down about it. Your research paradigm, whether it is positives or post-positives or interpretive or explorative or descriptive, etc. You have to write down all these things, that what type of research methodology you are going to adopt it, whether it is descriptive or it is interpretive or it is positive or post-positives. So reason for selecting these primary text, you have to defend it, why you are selecting the primary text available in Vinaya Sutta and Abhidhamma. You have to write down here. Methods of collecting data, what will be the data collections, you have to write down. And then the techniques and the tools, whether in the case of the empirical research or quantitative method, what type of statistical tools can be used by a researcher. You have to write down about all these things, and what are the theoretical parameters for analyzing and interpreting the research materials or the data. So within this research methodology, you have to write down about all these things. Now we are coming to the next, that is the research paper. After the writing the research paper, yes, after writing all these things, that is the introduction, abstract keywords, a statement of the problem, as well as the literature review and research methodology. Now we are coming to the research paper, how it can be academic writing, how it can be started by our researcher or those who are writing for the academic research paper to be published in the peer-reviewed journal. So discussion should be interpret the data results comprehensively, describe conclusion about each objective or the hypothesis, present theoretical and practical implications of your findings, state what results came out as they focus on the mechanism. Conclusion should give a summary and broader implications and future directives. So your paper must have writing of all these things. In the discussion part, whenever you are writing, so it should interpret the data results comprehensively on the basis of canonical literature available in Vinaya, Sutta and Abhidhamma, or commentarial literature, or our non-canonical literature, whatever which are available in Pali, Buddhist, Sanskrit literature, or Tibetan literature, or Chinese literature. We have to write down all these things in a very comprehensive manner. Describe conclusion about each objective or the hypothesis. We have seen that on the basis of the statement of the research problem, you are also having the research objectives. Aims and objectives of the research, as well as the hypothesis, anuman or parikalpana, the research, the present solution of the research problems which are arising in your mind and which directs a researcher to start the process of the research, and what will be the method of the research method, how on the basis of the qualitative method or quantitative method, how he has to collect the data, So this must be validated and tested here. So here you have to write down all these things. Present theoretical as well as practical implications of your finding. So, what are the theoretical observations as well as what will be the practical implications of your findings? Why results came out as they focus on the mechanism on the basis of your qualitative method as well as the quantitative method. And conclusion must give the summary, and it should also give a broader implications of the research as well as what are the future scope of the research. For the further research, it can be also written in the conclusion part of the research papers. Further, again, acknowledge the help received from the others in the work and publications. It is optional whether you can write down the names of the persons to whom you have consulted related with your research, whether they are your research supervisor as well as the persons with whom you are making questionnaire method or sampling method or survey method, you are collecting the data, you can make acknowledge of all those persons in your research. Further, what will be the length of the research paper? Generally, it is 5,000 words. For whenever you are writing a research paper, generally it is supposed to be written within around 5,000 words. So it is generally accepted by the our research journals when you are going to publish it. So generally 5,000 words is supposed to be written. Otherwise, within 3,000 to 5,000 words are the standard for the length of the research paper. Assess the quality of the paper and choose the journal accordingly. You have to judge yourself the quality of the research paper as well as you have to choose that which are the journals, peer-reviewed journals or the esteemed journal related with your research work or research topic accordingly. And in the beginning, you have to avoid the very top journals because they need excellence in writing or presentation of the findings. So, in that way, you can develop your ideas or thought in the writing. First of all, you have to select a very some of the middle standard journals, and then you can get it published, and then after getting confidence you can get it published from the very esteemed journals. So give only the essential references to ensure their citations at their prepared place in the text. There are three methods of giving the citations, that is the footnotes, endnotes and parentheses. So you have to adopt, if you are attempting MLA ninth edition, say you have to put your parenthesis, that is the in the running of the text passage, you have to put the name of the surname of the author of the book and the year of the publications and the page number. That will sufficient for giving the references. So, which type of method you are going to adapt it to, whether it is a PA method or MLS method for giving the citations or the references, you have to see it, and accordingly you have to put your references. Use the prescribed bibliographical methods for the references and e-sources. There are methods for giving the bibliography at the end of the research paper or research dissertation, where you have to write down the primary sources, secondary sources, e-sources, whatever you are having, or tertiary sources, whatever you are gathering information related to your topic on the basis of APA, MLA, or Chicago Manual. There are three methods of giving the bibliography. So in you have to select it and you have to present yourself there. So follow theoretical instructions for the paper preparation, submission, and the revision. You have to get consult with your supervisor as well as the editor of the research paper, peer-reviewed journal, and on the basis of the guidelines given by the university department or faculty or the editor of a journal, you can prepare your references of the paper in that manner. So I am coming to the last part here, that is the while writing your conclusion, insert these points. And this is the last part of your writing research paper, that is the conclusion. So, restatement of thesis statement. We have seen a statement of the research problem. You have to here validate and test that those research statement have been fulfilled or not. State how your thesis statement get justified, how the research questions are answered. The research questions in the form of your such questions, whether the answers have been given or not, the findings which you have collected, whether they are appropriate or not, the objectives of the research is met or not. On the basis of the statement of the problem, the research objectives are also framed. So whether the objectives are fulfilled or not, so you have to write down in the conclusion part. Write the gist of the analysis of the primary text, concluding remarks, judgment regarding your research. As per the issue raised, you have seen that in the statement of the problem, you have write down the statement of the issues raised. On the basis of the issues, you are making the research questions also. So regarding as per the issue raised and perspective used, what are the approach or research methods have been undertaken, and finally suggest, recommend for further lines of research, that is the further scope of the research. So let us stop here. In the remaining portion, I will discuss with you all in the next class. So if you have question, you can put to me. I will be glad to discuss with you all.
Yes. Yes. Any one of us have any question or query, please do share with Professor. It's a wonderful opportunity for us. Mr. Bensu Hao, Ms. Pai Rula, Ms. Xu Pefeng, Mr. Kojo Okura. If you have any question, please.
So whether things are clear to you all or not, whatever we are discussing, it must be understandable to you all persons also. I know
Yeah.
that this is a very different discipline, that is the research methodology, and those
Yes.
who are not having the background of master degree, as well as those who are not having the background of Buddhist studies, they are having some problems in understanding. But after repeating, going through all of classes, you will find some basis of your understanding also. So it needs patience. We had discussed also that that you have to keep patience, and research needs a lot of patience in understanding the research problems, research questions, as well as other things. So it
Yes.
is nice to see you all. That those who have joined this Lumbini Buddhist University master degree by dissertations. So
Yes.